We are on the line this morning with Joanne Moretti, and our conversation is brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Now, Joanne is a supply chain czar. She knows everything there is to know about it. Supply chain expert, chief revenue officer of Fictive, a company that streamlines and automates the manufacturing process. That sounds pretty like a pretty cool business to be involved in, Joanne. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much. Yep, it's Fictive, and that's exactly what we do. We're like the digital supply chain company, and think of us as Uber for manufacturing. We're trying to get all the risk out of today's supply chains, and we connect 250 manufacturing partners all over the globe, including here in the U.S., and we really just try to help get mechanical engineers parts and products when they need them.
Well,
right?
You got your work cut out for you lately, though, don't you, since this pandemic hit?
Oh, you know what? It actually started before this. It's been crazy. I mean, if you go back, it really started in, March of 2011 when we had that big tsunami. And ever since then, it's just been like this litany of problems, whether it's been, trade wars or weather issues, or if it's been the pandemic, or, Canadian truck, border protests and congested ports. It hasn't stopped. It has not stopped.
And then you get the canal getting all blocked up by that container ship, and my goodness gracious. It seems like it's a really, really delicate industry, that if one thing goes wrong, then it's just going to back up in domino theory all over the world, isn't it?
It really is. And that's why I think people are turning to us, and they're turning to technology, whether they use the technology internally or they use suppliers like us that are all digital and cloud-based. It's the only way to do it. Even if some of these companies want to bring their manufacturing back home here, and they're, 85% of companies we talk to are thinking about doing that, even if they do that, there's just not enough labor here to handle everything. So we're still stuck. So, yeah, you've got to really fight back, I think, with technology and leveraging things that are sort of on demand these days, and getting what you need and getting the visibility. That's why people love technology, too, because now they have visibility. It's like watching an Uber come to you, right? And that's the same thing we're doing with technology. We let our customers see where things are in the manufacturing process, so they get that peace of mind, and they know, okay, now it's on a container, now it's coming to me, now I've got it. Right, and that's kind of what we're doing. We're Uberizing things, to be honest.
Well, translate that then to the car industry. I'll give you an example. I got a car last fall. The dealership actually had the car for several months before I was able to get it, because they shipped it incomplete and they just had to wait for the parts to come in, and then the manufacturer of the car shipped the parts to the dealership, and basically they finished building it for me. That's not the way the system's supposed to work, is it, Joanne?
Well, it's kind of changing like that. I mean, a lot of companies are not doing it at the dealership per se, but there's a lot of what we call last mile manufacturing going on. So that's where parts come from different parts of the world, and they've got supply chains set up in different parts of the world, but they'll build and assemble it here. Now, I've never heard of it being done right on the spot. But if you look at the medical device industry, a lot of doctors are 3D printing prosthetics right in their offices now, and they're doing things like on demand right in front of them. So that's why I say, like, this digital technology, this 3D printing, robots, digital supply chains in the cloud, that's all a way to get things, when you need them right in front of you. So not surprised to hear that. First time I've heard that, but I'm not surprised because of this whole sort of last mile manufacturing approach that's being taken by car companies, airplane companies, like I said, medical device companies. It's happening everywhere.
I guess when you put it in the context of the medical device and that example, you could really customize a piece to fit somebody and not have to go with just your basic generic model.
Exactly. There's a company I know, Centium, they'll actually scan your body. Like they have technology that scans things, and then, they provide the 3D printers that print these prosthetics on the spot. So now you're getting a perfect fit every time. And that's insanely good. I mean, because things will heal faster, bones will heal faster because everything's custom made to your arms or legs or what have you. And it's just a much better sort of patient experience overall and gets things done right. So, yeah, technology is just wondrous. I know a lot of people are afraid of it and they're concerned about all this AI technology, but we're using it in the best possible way. And that's kind of where the workforce needs to go, too. That's where the jobs are. I mean, last time I heard there were 50,000 jobs out there for data analysts and, digital supply chain managers and data analytics and program. So there's just so many things out there, and we kind of have to rethink about retooling our young people to make sure that, they can get into these jobs. They're available. We can't get enough people.
So if it's been between 10 and 15 years since we started noticing within the industry that supply chain is going to become an increasing problem, are we in a transition period where as a country we're reimagining what the workforce looks like, and it's just going to take a little bit more pain before we get to operating as smoothly as we at least thought we once were?
Yeah, we're going to get into this mode of always being on as far as, supply chain issues are concerned and other things, disruptions. We're always on now. And so technology is streamlining that. It gives you so much power in a smartphone or a tablet or, a laptop or a PC. I mean, there's so much power in these things, and they give us the ability to have that agility, that speed, we can see more because the data's in front of us. So the company I used to work for, Jabil, was extraordinary at this. They could watch 37,000 suppliers in action, sending them things, and if there was a problem in one part of the world, they could switch over. And that's kind of what Fictive does full time. That's what we do. We manage. So if there's a pandemic that breaks out or a lockdown in one part of the country, we can shift to, other partners that can do it in another part of the country or the part of the world. So that's the beauty of it. You're never sort of, chained to any particular supplier. You're never chained to any particular approach. You can move things around and be super agile. So, yeah, it's changing the workforce. It's making them happier. They can click some buttons and get things done. They can click some buttons and get some visibility. Mm-hmm. They can really move with the pace of change.
So with manufacturing and industry, I'm assuming that what your company does enables at least there to be some leeway for a company that isn't quite as nimble as maybe in 5 or 10 years they're going to be.
That's right. That's exactly right. And that's why you're hearing this term digital transformation. That's what they mean. They're trying to streamline their workflows, digitize them, get people connected online, get them connected to partners, to the employees. That's what's happening. And so when you do that, if you do it well, and you have a well laid out plan, that's exactly where we'll be. We'll be, at the ability to do things like we are. We give our customers the ability to manufacture at the speed of digital. Right? It's crazy, but it's true. Mm-hmm. And that's more and more companies you'll see coming online that way.
So with what has become rather a long-term problem with bottlenecks just created all across the manufacturing base, do you foresee a day coming soon, or is it 5 or 10 years or even 15 years before we're operating as smoothly as we should be?
We do a survey on this exact topic. It's called The State of Manufacturing, and it's on our fictive.com website. Anyone is welcome to take it for free. And it really talks about that. So you'll see the percentages of companies that are thinking about doing something, that are doing something, and that have already done something. And no one is at the same place. There's companies, kind of like wondering and scratching their heads. And then there's companies that are, leap years ahead of everyone, light years ahead of everyone in terms of the technology they've implemented. So we get all those stats and facts. We survey our customer base, every single year to kind of find out where they are in their journey. And that's really, where you can get a good source of information about what people are doing.
Joanne, you tossed out a number a few minutes ago about the number of companies that are looking to move back to manufacturing here in the United States. There are plenty of companies probably thinking about it. How many are actually doing it? Is there a percentage-wise that we can quantify that?
I would say that most people have done it. Most companies have brought something back, right? Because it's a high-risk part or that high-risk assembly or something that just, they can't take the risk on, right? It's a single point of failure, and it caused them headache and heartache and loss of revenue and opportunity in the past. And so I would tell you that, a large percentage, so like I said, 85% of companies have already done something or are doing something, but a large percentage, if you look at the BOM of a car, for example, many of those parts are already made here, right? And then you start to look at the total content of American-made, and that's growing significantly. Last year, it was the highest, and I'm trying to remember the company. It might have been Tesla. It might have been one of the other ones, but it was Ford, Lincoln. It was their truck. 75% of that car, some of those cars are built here. So that's goodness, right? That's goodness.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of American content in these cars. Will it will it be 100% of a car made here? I don't know. There's just other parts of the world that do things faster and better than we do. Mm-hmm. So I think now it's about mitigating risk, looking at your supply chain network, figuring out where it's best to do something, where it's best to build something. People are saying, look, let's do the last mile as close to consumption as possible, and doing all of that work here in North America.
The company is...
So we're seeing a ton of that.
Fictiv, Fictiv. She's Joanne Moretti. Joanne, thanks for spending some time with us. It's been good.
I really appreciate it. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.
You too. It's Indiana in the Morning on WCCS.